I'm going to make America healthier than other countries in the world right now.
How safe is the food on your plate, really? In March 2025, the CDC reported over 400,000 hospital visits in the US linked to contaminated or adulterated foods, a number climbing faster than any year since 2017. And it's shocking that many of these products are still sitting on store shelves today, wrapped in cheerful packaging sold by brands you've trusted for decades. Why are substances banned in Europe like titanium dioxide and paraquat still ending up in our meals? Why are companies allowed to lobby against stricter safety rules while seniors and children pay the price with their health? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is sounding the alarm. His warning to American families is clear: some of the foods you think are safe are in fact the dirtiest, most unhygienic products you could put on your table. And the betrayal doesn't just stop at what's inside the package, but about who's profiting from your trust. This is the Downturn Report, where the truth gets personal. And today we're exposing the 7 most unhygienic foods Kennedy says you should keep far away from your family. Number 1. Tyson Chicken products. You ever bite into something and wonder if you should be chewing or calling a lawyer? That's the kind of twisted question Tyson has shoved onto America's dinner tables lately. It's almost funny if it weren't your teeth or your health on the line. Tyson used to feel like the easy answer after a long, bone-tired day, the kind of brand that felt as dependable as that old thermos you've carried to work for 20 years. It was pitched as the buddy who helped working families stretch $1 and still eat well. But lately that good buddy looks more like the neighbor who borrows your truck, brings it back with a busted transmission, and insists it was already like that. The cracks in that smiling image split wide open this March of 2025, when Tyson yanked more than 30,000 pounds of cooked chicken strips off the shelves because metal shards were found in the meat. Stop and let that sink in. What's scarier than asking yourself if tonight's crunch is breading or a piece of broken machinery? A Tennessee mother reported to NBC that her little boy cried out after biting down on a shard. Imagine if it had been someone with fragile gums dentures or a heart condition. Food shouldn't feel like spinning the barrel of a revolver, but here we are, rolling the dice on dinner. And if swallowing metal doesn't make you push the plate away, how about this? Just 2 months earlier, a Consumer Reports investigation exposed salmonella levels in Tyson's breaded chicken that were triple the legal limit. Hospitals in 3 states confirmed a spike in infections linked directly to these products. Think of your immune system like an old truck already coughing smoke on the highway. It doesn't take much for it to stall, and salmonella is the sugar in the gas tank. But while folks were being rushed into emergency rooms, the Washington Post revealed Tyson quietly spending thousands to fight stricter salmonella rules. It's like watching a guy drive with no brakes, insisting everything's fine as long as he doesn't hit himself. The horror stories from inside Tyson's plants make it worse. In January of 2025, workers told Reuters they were ordered to wash off slimy chicken and keep it moving to meet insane quotas. One even described scraping gray goo off rotting meat with a plastic spatula, told by supervisors. Nobody will notice once it's breaded. That's not food production, that's a cheap magic trick, dusting breadcrumbs over decay and serving it to the same people who built this country with their sweat. It's almost poetic if you enjoy poetry written in mold. So what's left? You're not trapped unless you let them trap you. Purdue Farms started independent pathogen testing this year, a step in the right direction. Local USDA organic certified farms often sell whole birds at farmers markets for prices close to Tyson's frozen packs, especially if you buy the whole thing. Sure, it takes a bit of effort to roast a bird and portion it out, but it stretches a week's meals and, more importantly, lets you sleep knowing what you're eating. Some co-ops now let you buy in bulk directly from farms, freeze portions yourself, and skip the roulette wheel entirely. Roast it on a Sunday, carve it thin, make sandwiches, soups, or casseroles. You get control, and isn't that better than leaving your health in the hands of a company that treats food safety like a bad joke? Tyson isn't the neighbor who smiles kindly anymore. It's the one who shakes your hand while quietly stealing the tires off your car, waving as you drive away on bare rims. Number 2. Dole packaged salads. Who would have thought that a bag of lettuce could send you to the hospital? That's the cruel irony of Dole, a name that once painted a picture of health and simplicity. It was the kind of product folks on tight budgets felt grateful for. No scrubbing, no chopping. Just tear open the bag and pretend you were eating straight from some sunny farm. Grocery stores sold it like bottled sunshine, convincing you that every crisp bite was a ticket to better health. But if you could see the places these so-called fresh greens are born, you'd probably swap that salad bowl for a can of beans and thank yourself later. The illusion shattered in April of 2025 when Dole recalled nearly 17,000 cases of its bagged salad mixes after FDA testing detected Listeria monocytogenes. Listeria isn't some nuisance you shake off, it's a killer, especially for older folks. CDC data released in May confirmed the harsh truth: 2 people dead and 23 others hospitalized across 5 states. Picture sitting at your kitchen table, proud of making a healthy choice, only to end up lying under fluorescent hospital lights and IV in your arm. That's the punchline to Dole's fresh taste of nature. What makes it worse is that none of this was some freak accident. A February ProPublica investigation revealed that Dole's Yuma, Arizona plant had been flagged repeatedly for filthy conveyor belts coated in black biofilm. Production didn't stop. One inspector even described workers hosing down moldy equipment with cold water, then starting the line less than 10 minutes later. Most of us wouldn't wash a dog's bowl that way, but apparently Dole thinks it's fine for the salad you're supposed to eat raw. And it gets uglier. In January, internal emails leaked to the Los Angeles Times exposed Dole executives debating a $4 million sterilization system only to reject it because it wouldn't generate measurable ROI. Translation: someone in a corner office decided your health was worth less than a balance sheet entry. That's like buying car insurance from a guy who secretly hopes you crash because he pockets the savings. The rot runs deeper than corporate greed. Workers on Dole's Mexican farms told Reuters in March they were forced to handle pesticide-coated lettuce with bare hands, suffering chemical burns and rashes. And what about the fields? Many are sprayed with paraquat herbicide so toxic it's banned across Europe. Think about that for a second. The same hands picking your lettuce are literally burning from the chemicals. If they don't care about their own workers, how much do you think they care about you? So what's the escape plan if salad now feels like a loaded gun? Surprisingly, you don't need to empty your wallet for safety. Taylor Farms adopted high-pressure cold pasteurization this year, significantly reducing listeria risk, according to Consumer Reports. But nothing beats taking control yourself. Whole heads of romaine or green leaf lettuce at local farmers markets cost about the same as a bagged mix, and you can see the dirt clinging to the roots, a good kind of honest dirt. Soak it in vinegar water for 5 minutes and you've already done more for your health than Dole's entire plant. If mobility's a problem, hydroponic grow kits now run under $40 and grow fresh greens year-round, giving retirees a way to eat safe, clean produce without playing roulette with a bagged death trap. Dole promised convenience, but at this point it feels like that slick car salesman who swears the brakes are fine right before you find yourself sliding off the road. Only this time, the cost of believing the pitch might be your life. Number 3. Smithfield pork products. Close your eyes and picture what Smithfield wants you to believe: a sunny Sunday morning bacon crackling in the skillet, and smiling farmers in spotless overalls waving from fields where pigs trot happily under blue skies. That's the story sold to hardworking families: tradition, honesty, and good food that wouldn't empty your wallet. But peel back that pretty picture and you'll find something so rotten it could make even the toughest old rancher spit out his coffee in disgust. The illusion collapsed in February of 2025 when The Guardian US and Animal Outlook released undercover footage from Smithfield-owned farms in North Carolina. What they caught on camera was closer to a horror flick than a family farm. Pigs were crammed into crates so tight they couldn't turn around, many covered in open sores swarming with maggots. Some were left to die in corners, their bodies decomposing just feet from living animals. And here's the gut punch workers admitted on video: that carcasses were often processed into byproducts used in cheap sausage fillers. Think about that. The next time you fry up breakfast, what's really inside that sausage link? Are you eating pork or a ground-up nightmare that should have been buried, not served? This isn't just an animal cruelty scandal, it's a public health grenade. A March 2025 study from the University of North Carolina School of Public Health found that hog farms with Smithfield's intensive confinement practices had E. coli contamination levels nearly double those of pasture-raised operations. The same report linked clusters of respiratory illness in surrounding communities to Smithfield's massive waste lagoons, which pump ammonia and hydrogen sulfide into the air at levels 30% higher than the EPA's safety recommendations. Families living near these farms reported children with chronic coughs and unexplained nosebleeds. The ads might show cheerful farms, but for the folks living downwind, it's like breathing through a dirty mop dipped in chemicals. And yet the betrayal doesn't stop at animal suffering or poisoned neighbors. It's aimed squarely at you, the customer. In January of 2025, the Federal Trade Commission fined Smithfield for labeling pork as humanely raised, even though USDA audits proved they still relied heavily on gestation crates, banned in several states for their cruelty. It's like a wolf throwing on a wool sweater and claiming to be a sheep, expecting no one to look too closely. Worse yet, they have no real intention of changing. Reuters exposed internal memos in April 2025 showing Smithfield's promise to phase out gestation crates by 2026 was nothing more than what executives called a PR timeline. Translation: they're just stalling until you forget. It's the same old carnival trick: keep smiling, keep lying, and hope the crowd wanders off before realizing the game's rigged. So how do you protect yourself and your family? You don't need to mortgage the house to eat better. Neiman Ranch, though pricier, has been verified by third-party audits to fully eliminate gestation crates as of early 2025. But for those counting every penny, local butcher shops and farmer co-ops often sell pasture-raised pork shoulders or bulk cuts at prices close to supermarket deals. Buy whole freeze portions yourself and you control the quality. Some folks, especially older Americans watching their health, are switching to turkey bacon or even plant-based alternatives. Consumer Reports ranked Applegate's turkey bacon as one of the cleanest processed meats this year. Lower sodium, cleaner sourcing, and no ties to the kind of cruelty Smithfield buries under its marketing. Smithfield's smiling ads sell the dream of an honest farm, but in reality it's more like a slick-talking carny at a county fair, grinning wide while making sure you never win the prize. So the next time you smell bacon sizzling, ask yourself, are you cooking breakfast or chewing on greasy lies served hot off a corporate assembly line? Number 4. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes and similar cereals. Mornings in America were practically built on that grinning tiger. For decades, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes wasn't just breakfast, it was comfort nostalgia, and for many a cheap way to fill a bowl without firing up the stove. That their grit slogan felt like an old friend cheering you on even when the cupboards were nearly bare. But that friendly tiger, turns out he's more like a slick hustler in a carnival booth, smiling wide while quietly slipping something dangerous into the deal. The mask slipped in March of 2025 when Consumer Reports released independent lab results that should make every shopper's stomach turn. Multiple Kellogg cereals, including Frosted Flakes, tested positive for high levels of BHT, or butylated hydroxytoluene, a preservative currently under scrutiny by the European Food Safety Authority for its suspected links to hormone disruption and cancer. Here's the part that stings: BHT has been banned in several European countries for years, and Kellogg's has already reformulated its cereals for those markets. Yet Americans are still being served the old formula, like we're stuck with the hand-me-downs, while Europe gets the brand new set. Does that sound like the family-friendly company their commercials pretend to be? And the hits keep coming. In April, the Environmental Working Group revealed something even more chilling: glyphosate residues, the same chemical found in Roundup, showing up in several Kellogg cereals, including Frosted Flakes. Glyphosate has been at the center of thousands of lawsuits linking it to non-Hodgkin lymphoma, with Bayer paying out over $10 billion in settlements by early 2025. EWG's testing found glyphosate levels in some Kellogg cereals exceeding the group's child safety limits by more than 5 times. Yet those bright cartoon-covered boxes are still plastered across the cereal aisle, luring kids and families with smiling mascots. That's like a used car salesman selling you a car with no brakes and tossing in a free air freshener as if it makes up for the risk. If you're hoping Kellogg's just missed this, don't. In February of 2025, Bloomberg News published leaked internal emails where executives debated cutting glyphosate-treated grains. The decision, they rejected it because the cost increase would erode margins by approximately 6%. That's corporate code for your health isn't worth a few pennies more per box. And just to top off the insult, the FTC issued Kellogg's a warning in January for misleading health claims on Frosted Flakes boxes, specifically the big, bold, good source of vitamins and minerals label. One nutritionist quoted in the complaint summed it up perfectly. Eating a bowl of Frosted Flakes is like drinking a can of soda with a multivitamin sprinkled in. Imagine that visual the next time you're shaking cereal into a bowl for the grandkids. But if mornings feel too rushed to whip up fancy alternatives, there are better options that won't drain your wallet. Barbara's Puffins and Nature's Path. Organic cornflakes tested free of glyphosate residues in the same EWG report and are priced about the same at big grocery chains. For those willing to step back to basics, old-fashioned oats soaked overnight with fruit or peanut butter is not only cheaper, but safer. It's a Depression-era trick that costs pennies per bowl and doesn't even need cooking. Craving Crunch. Toast some oats in a pan with a drizzle of honey, and you've got homemade granola without any chemicals you can't pronounce. Kellogg's sold you the fantasy of a wholesome morning, but the reality feels more like being pickpocketed by a mascot in broad daylight. That tiger isn't cheering for you, it's grinning because every spoonful you take puts more money in its pocket, while the real cost might be paid with your health. Number 5. Imported shrimp from Thai Union. There's something about a bag of frozen shrimp or a can of chicken of the sea that feels like a small win in a tight budget. It's quick, it's easy, and it's sold as a healthy source of protein, a little taste of luxury you can whip up at home without paying restaurant prices. Many older Americans keep it in their freezer or pantry, thinking seafood has to be safer than processed meats. But the truth hiding behind those shiny bags and that smiling mermaid is darker than the bottom of any fishing net. And once you hear it, you might never look at shrimp the same way again. The nightmare isn't just in the water, it starts on land. In May of 2025, the Associated Press linked chicken of the sea owned by Thai Union to shrimp farms in Thailand, repeatedly cited for forced labor. A United Nations labor briefing confirmed that workers, most of them poor migrants, were trapped in debt bondage peeling shrimp for up to 16 hours a day under threats of violence. Picture this for a moment. You're sitting at your kitchen table with a plate of shrimp scampi, while halfway across the world, someone is beaten or starved for the very same shrimp you're eating. Does that meal still feel like a bargain? The health risks are just as ugly. A Consumer Reports seafood study released in March of 2025 found that imported shrimp from Thai Union brands, including Chicken of the Sea, contained mercury and cadmium levels exceeding FDA safety guidance for seniors and children. One tested sample showed mercury at 0.6 parts per million, nearly triple what the Environmental Defense Fund considers safe for vulnerable groups. Mercury isn't some harmless trace element. It's been tied to memory loss, tremors, and heart problems. For older Americans already fighting to stay healthy, this isn't just bad news, it's a direct hit. And if you think the problem ends there, buckle up. A February Reuters investigation revealed that Thai Union faked sustainability certifications by mixing illegally farmed shrimp with certified batches to keep selling in U.S. stores. Internal documents even showed executives discussing ways to relabel shipments to dodge stricter customs inspections. That's like a mechanic swapping out your car parts with scrap metal and charging you full price, only in this case, the stakes are your health. It doesn't stop at fraud either. In April of 2025, the FDA issued an import alert after finding banned antibiotics, including chloramphenicol, a drug so toxic it's been linked to aplastic anemia in several Thai Union shipments. Those contaminated batches were supposed to be destroyed, but whistleblowers told the Associated Press that some were quietly rerouted through third-party distributors to smaller grocery chains where oversight is weak. So while you might trust big-name stores, the same tainted shrimp could still be sliding into the freezer bins of discount retailers where many working-class and retired Americans shop. But you're not trapped. Safer, cleaner options do exist if you know where to look. U.S. Farmed white shrimp from the Gulf Coast tested consistently low for mercury and cadmium in the same Consumer Reports study, and many local seafood markets now flash freeze shrimp directly on boats. Community co-ops often sell bulk shares of locally farmed shrimp at senior discounts, and if fresh isn't available, frozen wild-caught Argentinian red shrimp brands like Wild Fork ranked high for both taste and safety in an EWG review from March 2025. For those willing to ditch shrimp altogether, canned wild-caught salmon or sardines pack more omega-3s and cost a fraction of the price. Chicken of the Sea wanted you to believe you were buying something wholesome and ocean-friendly, but the truth is closer to taking a forkful of corruption itself. That shrimp on your plate isn't just seafood, it's a mix of heavy metals, toxic chemicals, and human misery served with a smile on the package. Number 6. Lean cuisine, frozen meals. Lean cuisine has long sold itself as the healthier choice for busy Americans, especially older adults, who keep their freezers stocked with those neat little boxes. The name alone suggests safety. Lean sounds like the opposite of risk, but peel back that plastic film and what's inside is far from the honest, diet-friendly promise printed on the box. It's more like a science lab experiment disguised as dinner. A Consumer Reports investigation in April 2025 tested 20 frozen meals, and lean cuisine ranked among the worst. Several chicken and pasta dishes packed more than 900 milligrams of sodium per serving. But with 2 servings per box, most people unknowingly consumed close to 1,800 milligrams in one sitting, almost a full day's recommended sodium for seniors. High sodium is no small issue, It's a silent bullet for older adults driving up blood pressure and stroke risk. Imagine believing you're making a smart, heart-friendly choice while every bite nudges you closer to the ER. The dangers don't stop at salt. A March FDA report flagged Lean Cuisine's protein kick meals for containing propyl gallate and sodium phosphate additives tied to kidney strain and hormone disruption over time. Though legal, these chemicals are restricted in Europe, and seniors on medications affecting kidney function are particularly vulnerable. Yet Lean Cuisine keeps promoting these meals as heart-healthy and good source of protein. That's like selling a car with bad brakes and bragging about the shiny paint job. Even the calorie claims aren't honest. In February, the New York Times reported an FTC inquiry into Nestlé for misleading portion labels. Marketing teams intentionally shrank serving size fonts so the under 300 calories label would pass, even though a full tray exceeds 500 calories. If convenience is key, safer frozen options exist. Amy's Kitchen Light and Lean meals tested much cleaner, but the cheapest fix is homemade. A big pot of chicken and vegetable soup frozen in portions costs pennies per serving and avoids the chemical stew. Lean Cuisine promised health and trust, but it's really just corporate trickery dressed in a diet-friendly disguise. Number 7. Little Debbie Snack Cakes. Little Debbie snack cakes have always felt like harmless comfort, a cheap bite of nostalgia that grandparents toss into carts for the grandkids, trusting the smiling logo to mean simple, sweet fun. But that innocent grin hides something far uglier, and the truth should make you think twice before unwrapping the next snack. In May 2025, the FDA issued a warning to McKee Foods after finding titanium dioxide in several cake coatings. This whitening agent has been banned in Europe since 2022 over concerns it may damage DNA. The FDA admitted it raises serious safety questions for long-term exposure, especially in children and seniors, yet Americans are still being used as test subjects because it's cheaper to keep it in. A Consumer Reports review in April also listed zebra cakes and cosmic brownies among the worst offenders for red 40 and yellow 5, dyes linked to hyperactivity and allergic reactions already restricted in Europe. Meanwhile, the sugar content is jaw-dropping. One Swiss roll contains more added sugar than a glazed Dunkin' donut. Yet ads still call it a treat you can feel good about sharing, targeting low-income neighborhoods where healthier options are scarce. If you still crave sweets, Simple Mills almond flour cookies or Made Good mini bars tested clean for synthetic dyes. Or go old-school baked apples or basic oatmeal cookies with bananas for sweetness, cheap, natural, and free of the toxic surprises Little Debbie hides behind that smile. What's on your plate isn't just food, it's trust health, and sometimes even someone else's suffering, all hidden under bright labels and friendly slogans. Every choice you make at the store is a vote for what you're willing to accept. Are you ready to keep feeding these corporations your money, or will you take back control of your table? If you want more truths, they don't want you to hear subscribe now because your health deserves the whole story.
Thanks so much for sticking with us to the very end. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe so you won't miss any of our daily updates. And now feel free to check out some of our latest and most popular videos showing up on your screen. Goodbye, and see you in the next one.